So we are live now, literally. So you should see me on your timeline. It does say 20
Yeah.
seconds delay. Are we on there?
Let's have a look. I'll have a look. Let's see how technology works here. Tagged you into a time. That was 28 minutes ago. So I've not had anything just yet.
We should be live on Facebook right now on my timeline.
Yeah, I've got you, mate. I've got you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on. Awesome.
Sweet.
Cool. Let's go.
So welcome to Mike Drops Up Close, Jay Dhillon. You're a really great guy, and I'm glad you're on this show with me. And I just want to really kind of touch base with you, your background, where you came from, what you've been doing, what you're doing now. There's so much we can touch on, basically. I'm sure this is going to be a real long, informative interview. But I don't want to talk of it as an interview. It's more of a conversation. And I like to keep things very unedited, very natural, and, you know, not robotic, I like to say a lot.
Yeah, casual,
And for me, like, I literally just, when I put this to my podcast, I literally just bolt the intro at the front of it and the outro, and everything stays pretty much the same. I don't, you know. So thank you. Welcome to Mike Drops Up Close.
It's an honor to be on here. I really appreciate what you're doing. And I've seen a lot of you on social media, so it's great. And great to connect with you.
Thank you, buddy. No, I really appreciate it. And, you know, likewise as well. And thank you for inviting me on your podcast as well. And we'll be driving up to see you and do that interview as well soon.
Looking forward to it.
I appreciate that. So I just want to start from the beginning, really, first of all.
Yeah.
So you started from some really humble beginnings, didn't you? Literally. I mean, like, you started from, like, and you said it yourself, your education wise, and I come from this background as well. I'm not the most educated on the planet, I've got to be honest with you. In fact, I was in low sets at primary school, and I dyslexic and needed special lessons for the dyslexia. Yeah, I was always creative, and I'm just presuming you've got a very creative mind as well.
Yeah, too creative at times.
Yeah.
So I'm happy my wife, she's actually a process business improvement, so she's always homing me with my ideas. But yeah, similar to yourself. Obviously, my parents came from India. They came over here. They worked hard in the foundries and labourers' jobs. So, you know, we lived, really good upbringing, but obviously it wasn't as privileged as my daughters get at the moment. And education-wise, you know, I was quite creative. In fact, you'll know now, Michael, looking at your own children, looking back now, you see things in them, you think, actually, you know, that's a sign of an entrepreneur, or that's a sign of someone who's going to be systemizing. And, you know, getting bored very quickly was something I had. I always had to, changing things. And my daughter's the same now, but I can try and channel her in the right way. So, education-wise, went to school, primary school, secondary school. I even did the university thing, and on university, so I went through the whole thing. Now, was I clever? I don't think I was the brightest thing, but in certain areas, I had some good skill sets. I was very good at negotiating. I liked drama at the time, and I learned to, you know, network very early on. You know, network with the guys who were very clever, because, you know, we all know now who you hang around with is who you are. So I'd have a party time. I'd have the time where I would, you know, try and do my coursework to make sure I got my grades.
Yeah.
I wasn't academically brilliant. And that could be two things. One could be the fact that I didn't put much effort into that. I'd rather do something else, like stuff and, you know, exciting stuff. I was pretty good at football, represented my county, Derby County at the time.
Oh, wow.
So
very similar, because I used to do the same for in our town. I played for three of them, and there was one called Malvern Wanderers, Malvern Colts. Really, I was left and right footed, so it was quite rare.
Nice,
I was bloody like a dog on heat, literally, when it came to, like, sitting in the classroom and staying still. Literally, I just couldn't do it, and always fit and healthy and so on. Now I'm older, bolder, and fatter. Life's hit me.
I'm sure you still got the touch.
Oh yeah, well, it's been a long time, mate. It's been a long time. But so you used to do all that, and you obviously grew up in a family unit that was very hard working, and I can relate to that as well. And, you know, one thing I noticed, there's a pattern, I think, and a lot of it comes from, and I don't want to judge like other ethnicities and so on, but there is definitely a pattern where when you're forced, when your back's to the wall, in life with any human, you've got to start again and literally get down to the ground and start grinding, literally. And a lot of family members of mine, and I know yours, come over here and they had to do that and work really hard starting from scratch. We had Neil Patel, one of the best marketers in the world, on the show this week, just gone, and he, the guy was talking to me before the interview, and it was very much the same. Again, hard-working family, and I think it ingrained. So your kids seeing you do what you're doing, I'm sure is going to be helping them as well.
100%. And I think the challenge we've got now, I'm looking at your screen, I can see 3 computer screens, because that was unthinkable growing up. We couldn't get one screen. But now the challenge we have is, obviously, my daughter just came on the radio recently. She's selling stuff on eBay. We were on radio together, which was amazing stuff. We'll look back at that. But I think the key thing now is getting that balance right, because we didn't have much, and that drove us to have something.
Yeah, same.
And now it's just replicating that with our generation. So actually, because it's not, I think Gary Vee talks about a lot about the advantage of being an immigrant. The fact is, you haven't got anything, and people, you save all your money up and then you invest it. It's when you have something, the challenge is then making sure you value everything. So, I think, people think it's a disadvantage. I think there's advantage in both things. I'm sure if, my parents had 5-6 million to pass on, I'm sure I'd do well anyway. But there's pros and cons of both. I think hard work and just putting the effort in was what I did to get where I am today. And by no means have I finished the journey. There's so much more to be done. Same. And I'll be honest, you're the same, Michael. We talk at places. I was talking at Cardiff very recently. It's crazy because we used to go there for mini breaks, the Celtic Manor. It's a gorgeous place in Wales. And I said to my wife 3 years ago, and I said, look, wouldn't it be great if I did? Because when you go there, it's conferences and people are like obviously doing the conference and talking, and we're there having a bit of a break. I said, wouldn't it be great to come here to actually speak at this event? Any event then. And I got the opportunity last week. And then I got loads of messages. And one lady put a message. I don't want to say her name because obviously she said, oh, it's great. Great inspiring story. I was a bit starstruck by seeing you. And that to me just sounds so crazy because, I don't think I've got anything that anyone else hasn't had. But I think, I've heard your story as well, which is amazing, and what you're going through and, the stuff you're inspiring as well. And that's why I want to get you on my podcast because, your story of your child and all that, I think is fascinating. But again, people will be inspired by that. So just a case of just telling your own story is really important. And the fact we've done something is really good.
No, absolutely. And I think this is the thing. It doesn't matter where you've literally come from, your disadvantage or your advantages. It's the fact that you actually make the effort to do something. I think that's the key. And a lot of people sort of like, they get pigeonholed by society, or they pigeonhole themselves into a position where they almost, say they can't do anything else. And I've even done that, even with the disability with my son. It's like, what I can't be an entrepreneur. I can't do great things and so on, because now I'm a parent of a disabled child, and and the feelings of emotion are like that, literally. And they're like that for people that haven't got that as well. So it's very normal. It's just they can come in slightly higher lows, if you know what I mean, and 100% slightly higher highs. But I wanted to ask you about what it was like when you're growing your business, because you grew a business to over 500 staff. And that's a lot of staff to grow a business to. I mean, like 500 staff, mate, trust me, even on VAs, it's been a nightmare to just control. Do you know what I mean? So like you growing to 500 staff, what did that look like, and how did you manage that?
So a lot of obviously our staff that work on contracts and stuff, they were out. So the way we built that is through operational managers. So at the start it is difficult, because scaling it up, the first few staff, I've learned so much in recruitment, it's unbelievable. And I think learning it through lessons, but also having good mentors at the time. That's why I'm so passionate about giving back and mentoring, because if it wasn't for the advice, I won't be able to scale the business up. And through experiences, yes, but the recession's a key story which we can touch on. Generally speaking, to scale a business up, it just doing it, repeating it, learning from the mistakes that you've made and being better at it, and then having operations and systems and processes in place that can manage the teams. So on-site managers, contract managers, sales staff, accounting staff. So I talk a lot about in property, related to properties, building business, systems in a business. So that's it really, systems, processes, because your processes will run everything. I think a lot of us think that we run businesses ourselves, which is great. And you can see them that way when you're small, starting off. It's your systems that should run your business. That was it really. So that's how it grew very quickly. Obviously,
Sorry, Jay. I was just wondering, that's obviously a big thing to get to, and it took a bit of timing and organization to get to. How did that? I want to get a bit deep and up close.
Go for it.
Like the title says, how did that affect you with obviously a family, your wife, your relationship, growing kids? If you had kids at the time, that was all happening. Because it's hard for anyone. And to grow something of that magnitude is huge. And I don't know if you have, partners in it, but you had, it doesn't really matter because of the amount of management and micromanagement you have to do. It's still a lot of work. So how was that with your partner?
At that time I had no children. I wasn't married. So the States are a lot easier. So, kids do take a lot of time, which is great, but you know that yourself. At the time, I had the freedom to just go for it. Literally, I had no fear. Just want to keep expanding the business. No distractions. I could get up at 6. There's some stories I could tell you, but we'll be all day talking the stuff that went through.
After the interview,
after the interview, we had some stuff. So, we used to travel a lot to Thailand and do that as well. But generally speaking, the way that I handled everything was I did have an initial business partner, which I bought up very quickly because they didn't understand the amount of work I was putting into the business. That was really helpful for me because initially they'd kind of given me the push to get it going and believed in me.
Right.
And then really just learning and leverage as much advice as I could from my coaches at the time, and then obviously the mentor after the session. So that's really how it grew. Now challenges, loads of challenges. Absolutely phenomenal mindset. The challenges of a young person in a recruitment industry, which was quite dominant from an older type, going into boardrooms, tendering for contracts, feeling that I'm too young for this. I went through a stage where I'd bought sports cars, could be doing really well, driving up to try and win business with that, and people looking at me thinking, who's this person? We then start using Toyota IQs because they're very efficient. But generally the mindset was, I didn't think at the time, I thought I was too young. I thought it was looking, but then I got around that because I'd speak to my mentors and speak to the people that I knew had been there before. And I had to switch into character very quickly. And, we'll talk about my event probably a bit later on.
Definitely.
I think that's why I've got Mark Pegg, who's from EastEnders, who's worked with James Corden. The reason I want to bring him as one of my guests, because I think every day as entrepreneurs, we are acting. And that's not acting in a way we're bullshitting. It just we've got to put different hats on. You'll know now, as we've got families, right? We'll have challenges at home. That door shuts. You go off, you meet someone, you're somebody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
You've got it. And I learned that very early on. And I thought, God, you know what? That's the thing. And my best hires, some of the best staff I've hired with sales in general, I always look back at the CVs and look back and track everything. Got a good qualification, drama or arts. They're amazing salespeople. And then I saw the link. And that's why now for my mentees, I kind of say, look, read a bit about acting, because got to switch very quickly in business. That makes sense. So,
interesting. No, it makes a lot of sense, actually. It makes a lot of sense because it's not about the BS, like you say. It's about being able to communicate. And in your natural state, communication to you might be very normal. Your sound, I think, has gone off.
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, no, it's because there's a delay and I'm looking at the delayed video. So the reality is of the the connection you need to make with prospects and leads when you get on a sales call, for instance, is going to be different on the phone to them looking in your eyes, for instance.
Yeah.
And so I can understand the tonality and stuff like that, and the like you say, the acting, but yeah, it's the communication touch. It makes a lot of sense.
Literally, it's just communication. It's just basically how you come across. If you've, like, for example, if I've got a mentoring one-to-one session with someone who's invested in me and they've invested their hard-earned money or whatever, when they meet me, I'm on point. Doesn't matter what I've got to do with my other officers or any problems. I want to give them 150%. My mind is right. Mentor mode. Do that. I expect the same when I go and see my mentors. You know, I don't expect them to tell me too much about their problems because I'm there. I just think, that's the same. So if we want to meet for a coffee after and we talk about life and how challenges and, problems we're having, share them, that's cool.
Yeah, totally agree.
People pay for a value and, in recruitment, that's a big thing.
No, definitely. When it's on one-to-one mentorship, it's like you're just sun out in the middle of training. You're like, boom, there you go. That's my shit.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. But I think also at the same time, there's a massive connection where you don't bullshit people in the fact that your life is a certain way, because people can connect with you about being true to yourself and being real to where you are and what you're doing is really key, even if there are problems there. But you're right, switching that off in the professional environment is not necessarily switching it off, because that would be sort of but being professional in the professional environment is key. Definitely.
It depends where you're in. If you're in a retreat where everyone's letting go and letting everything go, and you don't want to sort of it's just a case of, I just think when I think in every sort of mode you have different, like, your mind will have different kind of thought patterns. That's why they say listen to good positive things, because if you're listening to really negative things going into any kind of meeting, you're negative mindset. So that kind of way.
I think this is the thing when you do any form of training, doesn't matter where you are in your career or growth pattern in business. The key thing, if you ever notice on any module, for instance, if you're doing a module, starts off with your reason why or mindset. Always starts off there, and that's to break you down first. Get the right mindset in place, or ready to learn and absorb. So the initial consultation, I believe personally that you need to have a little bit of find out the pain points, all this sort of stuff, the breaking down, the intelligence gathering. It's what I need to do for when I do lead generation with chatbots and stuff like that, and funnels for websites and stuff. That's the key part, and then obviously you go into deeper and create a solution for them.
Yeah, definitely.
But like you said, being able to connect with them in the I've never thought of it like that, like acting, but I guess it's true. It makes a lot of sense. I never thought of it like that.
Mark was sharing, and listen, I've had a few sessions, with him, and I need to blow my mind to stuff, because here's something else. So when you watch TV, let's say you watch a soap, right? Have you ever thought to yourself, these guys every day they're on point? Right, because if that was me, I'd probably do one a month and I'd be knackered. Because they're in that mindset. And also, he also mentions, and he'll talk about it, and it's having him there is absolutely amazing, because he doesn't do this kind of stuff. But about how when we get to 7 years old, we lose the ability to act. So if you look at your children, I look at my daughter, one's 4, one's 7. 7's coming out of that a little bit, but the 4 she'll go, she'll play with the toys, she's acting, she's talking. But we forget that. But really, we should enjoy that, because that's role playing.
Yeah, you're right.
Education system takes you away from that. But we want to be active. We want to have fun. Yeah, we want to have these dreams and ambitions. Bringing that back into fun, isn't it? Because that was the best thing. Remember going in, I don't know, Rumba or something, watching a film and playing. That was a fun time.
And it's linked to creativity, isn't it? The more fun you make it, the more creative you get. The more you open up areas of your brain that have been known to work well with the mechanical mindset with the creative. I mean, you're absolutely right. That's why when you open up areas like when you listen to certain musics can help you learn things, certain colors, certain imagery can help you learn things better than you would just revising, for instance. That's why they do like visual learning and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, cool. No, definitely. That'll be interesting. So if people are going to be, they're going to be with some treats when Mark comes on. He's amazing.
Yeah, no, he's great guy, and it's great you got him as a mentee as well, definitely, and a mentor. So you're mentoring at the moment. You've got this retreat, well, not retreat, it's like an event. Sorry,
we'll call it a retreat.
It's a retreat. Yeah, let's call it a retreat. It's a day retreat with like-minded people. I'm going. I'm definitely going to go. All being well with family, but I'm paid up. I'm coming. And I can't wait. I think it'll be really great. Actually, definitely some great people there. But what are you hoping that people walk away from this event?
Yeah. So if we take it back, so mentoring, obviously with mentoring was something I wanted to give back. So if we take it back to when obviously building these businesses, the help I got, the guidance, the investment I made, I always said I wanted to give something back. So I had a real good opportunity where 2013, my business there was an offer on the table to buy my business, which was the main thing because I wanted to start a business, build a business, scale it, multi-location, and then sell it because I think that's the full cycle. And I was fortunate to do that. So in 2013, sold the business. We talk about retirement, whatever. Retirement, you should never retire. And so I came back and I got an opportunity offered to help the Prince's Trust.
Yeah,
well, great, because I had a lot of inquiries to join mentoring programs and help other people build theirs and all my business stuff. But I thought, right, if I want to start this mentoring thing, I want to give it away first because I believe giving it away is the most important way to do things. So the last sort of 5 years, I still do a bit now. I've been helping the Prince's Trust, and these, by the way, if you do mentoring, I think the best way to test your mentoring is to do it with the hardest possible business candidates. And Prince Trust are very young, they need the help because they haven't got the guidance. And what I did quickly find out by helping them using my knowledge, they started being really successful. And then I got picked up and I got invited to go to Buckingham Palace, met Prince Charles, the head of the Prince Trust. So then just from then, I started getting more and more inquiries. People want to talk, people want to listen to me. And then I launched the podcast. Now, bearing in mind, business is a very competitive area. I can remember thinking, Gary V's in it, all these people are in it. But then again, I spoke to, my mentor, Rob Moore, obviously you know him. I said to him, what do you think about this? And he said, Jay, well, again, it's about your take on business. What do you think about it? It's not about Gary V's or all these gurus out there that are doing really, really good things. And I really respect them all. Did that. So I launched the podcast, did really well, got to number 1. We've got loads of subscribers, downloads, really, really good. And then from then I got inquiries for mentoring. Does that make sense? So my academy is now built. And then I thought, right, it's coming to the 1 year. What can I do? What can I celebrate it? And look, I don't do many events at all. So this is something which we really worked on. I thought, right, let's go for a nice venue in Derby.
Yeah.
Heart of the country, the Midlands. And then we've got Pride Park Football Stadium. We've got a suite there looking over to the ground. And then I wanted to get people that I thought could bring real value. Now, we talk about entrepreneurship, right? So we can talk about real successful business people. But really, and I know, in business, there's different elements, right? So you've got the person who can pitch an idea. Let's say we've got loads of ideas. Who could that be? So I thought, well, Dragon's Den winner, Ed Holland. So he's one investment. I looked at the acting. We act every day. So I thought Mark Pegg. I've got Winston, who's Clements is such a good guy. He's disabled, quite small. You see him, very inspirational. So when we go through thoughts and we think it's hard, listen to his story will get us back on point. And we've got Luca. Obviously, Luca, I've been mentored 5 years. He's absolutely dominating social media. 800. What he's got between on TikTok and like 2 with it.
It's more in it, yeah.
Probably more, probably 3. He's growing all the time.
He's smashing it, isn't he? Yeah, definitely.
I can't really release it, but he's just been on the biggest network in the US.
Yeah.
I keep saying that. I want to say the name, but he's, he can't say it, so I can't say it. He tells me everything. But once he goes on there, it's going to be all over the national papers. They're going to pick up on it. And then, just building it from there and there. And then we've got Kavita, who's been in business. Do you remember Channel 4, Secret Millionaire?
Oh yeah, I remember her. Yeah, definitely.
Remember, right?
She was one of my favorites actually on there.
Yeah, she's been doing it for like 2 decades.
Yeah.
And constantly through her system of stories, women in business as well, being an agent and how she's done that. And really, that's a full cycle. And obviously, I'll talk, I'll say my bits as well, which would be good.
Yeah.
But generally, it's such, and these guests, this could never happen again because they don't do any talks.
Yeah.
They don't sell courses. And to get them together, I've been blessed. So one-off event. It's not going to be 6 weeks later. I've got them back again because they just don't do it.
Yeah. And then here's the remaining 10 tickets that were sold out before that weren't going to happen again.
It's not going to happen again. So and really, it's such a good celebrate the podcast. We've got this massive cake coming as well. I'm sure people have seen my promo videos.
Oh man, I'm definitely going to be there.
Honestly, I went to. It's going to be. I'm so excited. If Carly did events. Right. So it's going to be loads of networking. We've got breakfast in the morning. We'll have music. We'll have fun. But there's so much to fit in that no one's going to be like, oh my god.
Starts at 8, doesn't it? So an early.
Starts at 8. VIP's at 8 o'clock.
I'm there. Yeah.
So we get there. We get breakfast. We'll have networking. We'll tour around the stadium. Have a look. Nice social media sharing. Everyone sharing pictures. And then it starts at half. And then it's that boom, 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 boom. Icebreakers, everything. We're planning it. I've actually, we're going to talk a bit later off air about events and stuff because I know you did a great event as well.
It was quite successful.
It did really well. It's amazing. But you'll know when I watch your videos because it takes time to put an event together. So I've just got one of my team, Laura, who's going to take it over now. So she's going to project manage it because it's not a case of there's the venue, there's the event, everyone come together. It's just a little tiny bit. So I respect anybody who puts events together because, when you actually get involved in one, the little things, the lanyard, the stuff that,
it was stressful. I had my partner James on that, and it was a marketing event in London, 3 days, and it was stressful. There was resistance. We only had a very small window to do it in. And
it looked great. And, I watched it. Obviously, next one I'm going to be there 100%. It'll be good.
Without doubt. If we do another one, we will be doing something like that, and you'll definitely be there, mate. We had the great Bilal was there speaking as well. Really great guy.
That's good. Thanks for mentioning it. You're going to love it. You won't.
I can't wait, mate. I can't wait. It's not long now, is it? How long we got now?
No, we've got the countdown. 4 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks left. So the countdown starts now. We'll probably do some more promotional stuff. We've got we've more or less, I'm not saying it because it's 10 tickets. We've got 10 tickets left. We're going to donate some as well to the trust. So, it's an amazing event. I don't think it's one to be missed. So
this is why I connect with you because you're a man of the same values and I can see it. And you've done very well in life and you've done it with pure heart. And I love that when someone does that and they don't have to cheat people. They don't have to be sly about it. And you want to give back, and I've done exactly the same. I want to do more. There's only so much you can do, and it's just really frustrating. I see stuff, and I wish I could do more. And life's so short. Just recently, a friend of mine used to be a PT of mine. Was found dead. And it's just young guy, and it's so heart-wrenching. And then there's another friend of mine who's a great speaker, and she was I think she was late 40s, around thereabouts, and just gone. And obviously my son born healthy, and I just know how life is so short.
And you know what, I think when people like yourself and me and other people putting ourselves out there creating content, and Mike, a lot of this stuff like podcasting or stuff, we're not getting paid to do this.
No, this is our time, our money.
And I traveled, all the way down to Cardiff just to share my story. But, if we could inspire 1, 2, if our mentees can do better than us, what a great legacy to leave. So I think,
absolutely, definitely. With you.
And there's a time, people talk to me about mentoring, and I'm running stuff where I'm teaching people how to do mentoring properly. Just because, if you do it wrong, it can be painful. But I think everybody should, at some point, give back their knowledge. But there's a way to do it. Obviously,
Yeah, I do mentorships as well. Again, I don't promote it massively. I've got a few people that are on my mastermind, and they're doing social media marketing mastermind. I literally teaching them everything. I'm teaching them bloody everything I know. It's not just one thing, and it was ridiculously cheap for a year-long trial. It's just crazy. But I'm also doing like sort of one-on-one sort of mentorships and stuff, and coaching, and it's a good feeling when you help people. That's actually more valuable than the money. But obviously, your time has to be, compensated for, because obviously that's your time that you have with your family, and that's going to pay your bills, literally. So but it's the feeling that is a greater value than any income you may get from it.
Well, listen, I don't promote it. We've got a site. We are going to look at the academy started. That's just a demand to try and facilitate as many people, because you're only limited to your own time, aren't you?
Yeah.
But I like your stories on that, so I'm getting you on, because I've listened to parts of your story. You've done it for a long period of time. I like to look at behind the mentors and the challenge they have and stuff, because that's the real value of information. Now, my first mentor, was the person I spoke to in 2008 in the recession. When we never felt a recession, I didn't know that one in 1970 or 1990.
Yeah.
We were at school and uni, so having their information was a lot more powerful than someone who's not been through that. And that's the way that I value, people. I like to see what they've done, and they're the ones that really help me. So that's the type of mentoring and that's probably the difference between a mentor and a coach. Coaches are amazing. They follow systems, whereas a mentor is just the inside, the stuff that you don't think about. You can't really teach sometimes. It's the third eye, I call it, in a meeting. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're right, and it can come very natural. Yet I've always struggled in actually appreciating how naturally it comes to me, and value my own worth. And I had a person post on my marketing site, I was speaking to her on the phone. She asked me, she needed some help, and I literally just threw her some mic drops, big time. Whoa, why didn't I think of that? And she's implementing all that now.
That's right. And that's
a really great feeling. Really is a great feeling. I wanted to talk about, obviously, it's all great when you get to this position, and it's all churning away and so on. But there must have been a pivot point that goes from, a certain number of people to, a lot more. And even now, even though that business is been sold and so on, even now you've got, I don't know how many people you've got working for you, but there's always a struggle of actually employing people in many different ways. And it can be on so many levels that, personal level for them, personal level for you. Then they sort of how long do you keep giving them a chance if they're not quite up to the job? There's some hard decisions there, isn't there? Literally. 100%. I mean, what was your pivot point in your career, and how do you manage that turn, with employers and employment?
Yeah, I think for me, if you look at when did I realize the power of people in general, I think I was when I started very early on in my business, I was actually forced into that decision that I had to take staff on. Now, there's two options, and I talk about this on my talks and my mentorings. Is I think what we do is the power of recruiting the right staff is phenomenal. I mean, if you get the right staff, it can grow your business. If you look at any business, they've got staff. Now, I know there's VAs out there, but I've had VAs and I use them. But I tend to use outsource. People can work from home. I still can meet with them and chat with them. So they're more flexible. So the problem you've got, obviously I've been in recruitment a long time. I've seen so many horror stories with the wrong things. If you don't do it properly, yes, it's the worst thing you can do, because you're recruiting people. You're taking on everything. You're taking on the habits, the kind of way they come across. So you've got to do it right. You've got to do it properly. And that puts a lot of people, it's a bit like going into property, right? You get the wrong property. They might have done the first buy to let, and it's really horrible experience. And I mean, many people will never go back there. But that is the best investment tool and we both invest in that area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the pivot point for me, I saw the power in it. The power in it was when I'm, out the office and my sales team are bringing in orders or bringing in new contracts. You know what I mean? So that's when I saw the power of recruiting, and I was forced to do that. A lot of business won't recruit because they're worried. But I always say, when you do recruit, look at recruiting people who can bring you value. And that's normally marketing, brand. We've got a videographer, we've got an editor now. We're looking, working on or sales. Does that make sense? Or you can outsource it. But if you're looking to grow your business, you can bring it inside as well. It just depends what scale it is. And I'm talking, I work with businesses that have got maybe 200 staff, or they've got 50 staff. If you're a small company, if you're like, a lot of startup entrepreneurs, yes, I would leverage VAs. I would leverage outsourcing certain things. When you're ready, you can bring them in, but do the process properly. Like, have your contracts in place, have a system for appraisals. Look at what they want. If they want to start at 9:30 and finish at 7:30, don't worry about it. You can be flexible. People, I was away, so I let my staff that want to work from their kind. As long as it works, and that's fine. I think a lot of people go into like employing people, the old,
it's got to be this way,
dictator style, right?
Yeah.
Where you can look, there's got to be boundaries. There's got to be boundaries. People take
because some people do take the mic. Literally.
So someone listening, a tip I would always say, if you're looking to hire people, is one, obviously interview, at least 5 people if you can. 3 people if you can, right? Make sure you have at least 2 interviews with them, possibly a 3rd interview. Make sure you're working them on. They've got to learn that there's a process to come through, because they'll value it more. If you meet someone, go in the pub, right, mate, great, here's your job, right, start Monday, no contracts have been set.
They won't value the process.
Value the process, and then make sure your contracts.
Good point.
And also, another thing which is a game changer, and I talk to a lot of companies about this, is do either a day or a week trial.
Right.
Get them into your office or wherever you're going to work, or how you're going to do it, and give them at least a day trial. I've learned this myself. I've taken staff of myself, and I'm a salesperson, so I've sold this great company, which is great. But I talk about everything there. I say, yeah, Jay, yeah, we love it. They come on the day and they're on the sales phones, and during the afternoon they've left. And I've thought, oh wow. Or the reverse is, they've left a very good job thinking this job is something completely different. And then you've got the I won't say stress, but you've got the burden of thinking, oh my God, they've left a job. They've come here, they don't have this job, and you're thinking, I'm a human being, so I value everybody. I don't think I'll just go. I'm thinking, oh God, I want to try and get this person another job. Does that make sense? So
that makes a lot of sense. So like, say for instance, you're a car mechanic, and you want to grow your team. You got the skills. Maybe you're doing it with a mate, a friend of yours. You want to expand. It's at that stage. You need to grow your business. The opportunity's there. There's an empty unit. What would be your advice to someone to grow in terms of like, you're trusting the people, the investor, how to get the funds? Is there any practical advice? Because I presume in the Princess Trust, you probably get a lot of people starting off, and they just need to know where they could help get funds, and the process of even employing, because that's new for a lot of people starting out, obviously. So
for the Princess Trust, I don't do as many. I don't really mentoring. It's more just group talks now.
Sure. Okay.
But generally, let's say someone came with the car mechanic, they want to expand the business. First, I would look at the financials, see how much money they've saved up. So if they're doing it, if they want to expand, then the customer base, is the demand there. Similar things, marketing, test out there, test ads. Is people coming through the funnel? Are they getting people in there? Have they got enough reputation? So looking at all the reviews or the goodwill they build, to build a nice thing there. And then when you go to employ staff, the first thing I would do is probably look at apprenticeships. So go to an apprentice provider. You can start them off a lower salary. University, you can get staff from university. And then if you're looking to build, let's for example, you want to pay someone a lot more money, and it's a very good client or mechanic, then are they going to bring some of their clients over as well, so their clients can pay them? Does that make sense? So
it makes a lot of sense.
There's loads of stuff.
It's multimodal, isn't it? It's multimodal. You've got to go through. Yeah.
And then the systems behind it, right? So when this person starts, what is their job role? What are they doing on a day-to-day basis? What is the output levels? What do I want this person to do? Anyone you take on should really, return on value 3 times on what you're paying them. I have a lot of people that I work with have taken on staff, or they've taken on a VA or taken anything, but then they're working double hard just to pay them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now there is a bit of a 3-6 months period where you want to have a bit of grace.
Yeah.
After that, that person should be bringing you more, and that's how I scale my business up.
Yeah.
One, pay the wages, boom, next one, right, next one, then contracts.
Yeah, they can cover themselves as you grow. That's the key, isn't it? If they can bring enough value to cover themselves. And you're right. The first few months of grace, training, and so on, makes sense.
And I encourage, if you're a small business, and most businesses, they'll employ people generally as they expand, right?
Yeah.
There's no harm in you thinking, right, I one day want a sales manager or whatever, and just getting an advert and just test the market.
Yeah.
Go to if you hire a conference room in an office, or for example, these hotels, 4, 6, 5 people, you're gonna see these people and think, wow, the power of people, the experience they bring.
Yeah.
Slowly,
no, it makes a lot of sense. So for like someone that's wanted to do mentorship under someone like yourself, what would you say they should look at? Because we both know, I'm sure I've not discussed this with you before, but I have with other people. There's some not so great mentors out there, unfortunately. 100%. I'm not there to throw mud at people or anything like that. But there are, unfortunately, some that don't give a crap and don't give value. And, unfortunately, that gives a bad name to people that want to go and get the, I guess it's like even a university degree. There's be some universities that are just not great and some that are. But there's some people that are just a bit too, it's too one way, to put it nicely.
I don't think you can make a lot of money from mentoring.
No, you can't. No.
The problem is with mentoring is your time, and you got
to want to do it. And
to help. You know, and I know, some of my mentoring clients, if they're on a particular level, they can WhatsApp me anytime. I'm calling them in the morning. If I have a 20-minute call with them, I'm normally an hour with them anyway, just till they got what they want, and they're like, oh, thanks for doing it. But that's just me personally. I'd rather move a meeting just to make sure they get the value. So I would say is this. So I use myself always as a benchmark. So for me, if I was looking at a mentor, I'd want someone like myself. So set a business, run it for 10 years, multi-location, employed staff, build systems. And then basically I did it for voluntary, give it away. And then when the demand came, I then moved into paid mentoring where people pay me and do stuff, carve and put them back on. And then basically I would say that way, I would say, do your due diligence. Social media has opened a lot up for us. There's 2 things social media has done. One, it's given, you can tell your story, but 2, also allows people to bullshit a lot, make up the doing, whatever it is. So I would just check. Look, my mentors, I use mentors, and I know you use mentors as well. We go with people who are proven, that have done it over a certain period of time, because we want to get value and respect them for what they've done. I think there is a time and a place where you need to just check, have they got enough in the bonnet? Because I tell you what's going to happen is when the biggest mentors. I never heard of mentors when I was starting business. Coaches were great.
Most people don't.
They don't. But here's the thing. This is when I found the true value of mentors, because when I was working with my coach, who's, by the way, coaches do an amazing thing. And sometimes people say, Jay, you don't give coaches enough credit. I do. But when the recession came and the coach had his own business model, which was closing because people were cancelling his clients, it's when a mentor said to me at the time, I've been there, I've done it. You're going to come out of this. This is what I want you to do. These are the steps. And I asked him to stay with me on the journey. That's when I realized, because that's a mentor. Someone's been there, done it, and can see a way out of it. Does that make sense? So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and some people, it's difficult. There's not many mentors out there that I know of that are available. Now, me and you, and I do it now. I know my time. Eventually, I'll probably stop doing it because of my time. That's why we launched the academy, so we can build maybe group sessions, etc. Because time is the essence. So my advice would be to just do all your checks. I don't know about you, but when I mentor someone, currently they come through a process where they book a call with my PA. I'll have a chat with them, and I'll be honest, I turn down more than I take on. And I turn down a lot because I don't think they're right for the mentoring, even if they pay me.
Yeah.
I just say to them, look, maybe you need to just listen to more of my podcast or whatever. But then also, there's things like you can do break. I might do a day's breakthrough session with them where I'll spend a day, give them everything, and say, look, action it, come back to me in a year's time, and then we'll go again. So due diligence is the most important. I know it's the obvious thing to say.
Yeah, for you touched on both sides. Due diligence. Are they coachable? First of all, yeah.
Awesome. And if someone just takes you for the sake of it, right, I want to mentor you, you need to probably get to know them a bit better.
Yeah.
But there's loads of value, loads of good people out there. Just finding, like anything, isn't it? It's like
definitely. You got 2 children, is it? 2?
Yeah, I've got 2 children. 2 daughters.
Yeah.
One is 4. One is 8.
Right. So mine's 5 and 10. So pretty close.
You got a daughter and a son, right?
I've got 2 daughters, 1 5 and 1 10, and I've got a son who's going to be 7 in May.
5 and 10. Okay, so slightly older. Okay,
yeah, just slightly older, but 2 girls, and yeah, they're characters and a half, definitely.
Oh, I love my girls. Oh, they're my wife.
They're my world. Yeah, they're all my world. My son, all of them, they're all my world. And it's just you get softer as you grow older, don't you? Yeah. It's just
you get softer. I get told I'm too soft on my daughters, but the good thing is, hopefully we're inspiring them, and how cool would it be? Look, we're both parents. How cool it would be if that, when we were growing up and our dads are doing like Facebook lives.
God, I couldn't even imagine it.
They're running events. We got to think through their eyes what they see, and also, a lot of the parents do a lot of things now, and respect every parent out there and people who go into parenting.
It's a strange new world because there's a balance, isn't there? I mean, I'm a guy that teaches marketing and social media and all these sort of lead generation tools and stuff like that, and help business. But at the same time, I see the danger in social media as well, and being too much on it. And yet you need to a certain extent on in business, but I think for me personally, I'm trying to trying to get the reins back and pull my kids away from it a little bit more. Than promote it, because I think there's a danger in there, and they might miss the bandwagon of YouTube videos and all this kind of stuff. But for me personally, and I've seen how it can change how they can be, and mood swings and stuff like that. There's a direct pattern there with, like, when they're on the computer or the laptop or the iPad, sorry, and they're on it and they're just like obsessed with it. And then after the mood swing, so I'm trying to pull it away and create sort of like pockets of time, with my we've got YouTube TVs everywhere, which is the best thing you can do. I tend not to, but obviously my daughter's a bit younger than yours. So I don't really, even though we're on social media, they know the dangers of it. But you're 100% right. I think, letting someone with the freedom at that age just to go on the World Wide Web, it's just open. You can Google anything. There's not, how much safe things can you put on? Obviously, you're going to put safe things so they can't go on certain sites. But this Momo thing about kids, is it Mimo? That kind of freaked the kids out. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's the kind of stuff, because you can run ads to anything. There's no, you can run an ad. I don't know how I got through, if it was right or not. But
I mean, just these
it's like anything, Michael. You've got to balance everything. Would we now leave the children out there in the park on their own, like when we used to play? I wouldn't now. Things have changed. We're more.
No, same here. It's things like Snapchat though, and you put they've got this like pretty face, and it's got and then it's like a fucking a monster's face. Like, what? I mean, I'm like, that's really freaky.
Well, they're gonna come into this world, so I think as much as we kind of.
No, we can't. Yeah, we can't protect them completely.
We probably do as best we can, but at least we know that. Some people don't even know the dangers. They just start thinking Facebook's policed by somebody out there, it's not. But
cool. It's a balancing act. Everything's a balancing act. I think
100%.
that's business in itself generally.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so another quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
When is enough, would you say? When is enough? Business, wealth, when is enough? What would you say?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think we all have days where we think it's enough, and then you get the next day, and then you go again. I think I read a lot as well. And
Mm,
I think when the problem is when you call, like for example, when I sold the business and I thought that was enough, and then a week later you got nothing to do and you feel undervalued and you're not managing a team anymore.
mm,
So how do you define what is enough? I think as human beings, we're always intrigued to know what is the next level, and that's what keeps everything moving. The whole economy, the whole ecosystem is, if we don't look for the next level, what do we do? You've seen many people who in sport who give up that sport. I met Paul Gascoigne very recently,
mm,
and if you look at Paul Gascoigne now after what he was when he was going for the next level, it's just a complete turnaround.
It, so true. I say it with retirement. Sorry to cut you short, Jay.
Yeah,
It's spot on. Even in retirement, when people retire and they age quicker,
100%.
and because they're not moving as much and they're relaxing
Well,
because
that's
they
why.
deserve to relax, and they go on
Yeah,
holidays and then they get more aches and they get more pains, and it's like, whoa, it's just crazy.
I had a conversation. I went for general checkup. It was at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
This was a couple of years ago. I like talking to people, and
Mm.
I was sat next to this lady. She must have been 90 years old,
Yeah.
right? So much energy. I was speaking to her, and I said, you're 90 now. What's been your secret? Because she goes, there's a difference. She goes, so they go to this group, women's group, and her husband passed away, and she said, every day I'd get up, I refuse to have a cleaner come round, I refuse to have anything done for me, I will do it myself. She goes, I know someone who's a friend of mine, she's 15 years younger than me, yet she'll have everything done, and she's sitting in an armchair and she can't move anymore. And she
Mm.
goes, the secret is to be active and keep doing things.
Mm.
Keep doing new things. She goes, I'll go for walks. And my granddad, he lived to 105 years old. He
Wow.
passed away, from the army.
Mm.
And, he'd always, right until he lost a bit of his sight, at 98, he'll catch a bus, go to the city centre, always be walking around, constant walking. I'd go and see him, and they say he's gone out, and he'd be walking the park and doing stuff. So, you look at that, and you're right. When people retire, they sit on the beach or sit on whatever they're doing. And the problem is they get this, and obviously pensions in our age will completely change. But now if you look at the generation above us, they've got a nice pension. They don't have to worry about money. The houses are probably mortgage free. They've got no drive. What is the drive? Unless they get hobby or go to the gym, they turn to alcohol or things like that, which are going to eventually tear you away. So 100% you're right about that. Yeah, definitely.
No, it's true. I mean, even my dad says it. He goes, the time I would stop completely, I will pass, and it's horrible even him saying it, but I know what he's on about. It makes a lot of sense to me, and really connects with me, because like even me when I've been like, especially when my son was made to step, and I hit depression quite hard. We have PTSD, both me and my wife, and I couldn't get out of bed. But it wasn't just the mind; it was the body actually started getting affected, and it's really hard to get up and go. And it's why I want to give back, because I know how hard life can be, and I don't want people being stuck like that. And even though I get my moments when I'm stuck, I actually don't want to BS people and say, hey, everything's going to be fine, because it's not. When stuff hits you, it's going to come back again.
Yeah.
How quickly you can get back up. And even only yesterday I had a downer, and then by the evening I was interviewing a friend and higher up, in a better place. And it's really important to get back up. That's the key thing. And I don't want to hide it or gloss it over and pretend to be someone I'm not, because this is me. And if people come to me as a mentor, they're going to get the professional mentor, but they're also going to know me as me, and not someone that I'm not. I don't want thousands of properties. I don't want, I really genuinely don't care for any of that stuff. I want to give back, I want to do well. I want to obviously make a decent amount of a living so I can help my children and leave a great legacy for them, especially when there's a lot of health costs. But I want to, my main thing is to be able to help other people. I love that feeling of helping other people, when I know you do too.
Yeah, 100%. And that feeling when someone says, you know, you've helped them. And look, a lot of my mentees, and you all know that, people don't want to shout out, and that's cool. You've got to respect that. And I don't encourage people who've got their clients to constantly be saying, Jay's wonderful, they've got to do that themselves. And, you know, I expect my mentees to do that as much. Maybe I should, but no, but you know what I mean?
We're always told, actually, I'll stop you there. I never did it for years and years and years and years. But I think I've been told recently, you need to stop. But because the thing is, it's not, people are busy, aren't they?
Yeah.
You got to say, hey, do you fancy leaving me a testimonial or whatever?
Yeah.
If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. That's cool. But people are busy. And I think you should do more, Jay, because you do a lot for a lot of people. So you should do more. There's my mentorship to you.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's loads of things, but yeah, I think you've just got to be authentic to yourself. You know, if you know, be who you are. You know, that's the most important. We talk about stuff like business and acting, all that kind of stuff. It all links together, and you have to take these tools and then adapt them to what you are and, you know, what you can do to the world. You know, don't try and be somebody else. You are your own person. And I think on Instagram, all that stuff, things are changing. You know, things are now, people are, you know, I did a post, the reach is completely very hard to get once you get past a certain level. I got really quite big on Instagram and they just kill the reach a little bit. But I did a post the other day, which was, you know, the difference between having cars, holidays, and a few things. And against that was, you know, your brand, your worth, you know, a value to the world, you know, the real things that we call values. And suddenly my reach just went out the roof and I got 1,400 likes on it. So people are going that way now more and more. Yeah,
people are not buying into the BS so much, but they've still got a reason why, a need, and some of it's greed, but some of it is a need, and so they are going for the shiny penny stuff. But at the same time, you're right. People are starting to see what's really of value, and I think they're slowly getting more educated. And in a strange way, the courses that they go to and get no value from, or the courses where they go to and, you know, it's not quite worked out, and they go to another one, they do it again. That's kind of helping that come about. I think that's kind of where that's coming from.
Yeah, and definitely, and you know, when I did my event, and the event's pretty cheap, 97 plus a fee for Eventbrite.
Yeah,
a lot of people said, "Oh, that's too cheap. That's too cheap." I said, "Well, I'm not looking to make a profit. My speakers are coming to give value. You know, this is not an event where, you know, we're looking to charge a lot or make a lot of money, because it's about giving back, and you know, for what they get. And some people think it's unbelievable. They don't want to come because they think they're going to get all this upsell, or, you know what I mean? Because it does happen. But generally speaking, it's just a one-off event, you know. And sometimes you can get a lot of value from these events if the person at the top has got the right attention for that particular event. That's not saying that events shouldn't make money. They should. But this, for me, is just a one-off event. So, you know, we may do more later on. We'll see how it goes, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be, mate. And it will be as good as this one and better, you know. I'm certain of it. You know, it's going to be a great event. I definitely highly recommend it to anybody. Jay, if you can get the link, mate, throw it in the comments. And
we'll drop the comment. That'll be great.
Drop a comment, yeah, because there's only 10 spaces left, guys. If you want to come to that,
we're not doing a 10 rush. Yeah, it'll be good. We've got a lot, and by the way, we've got a lot. Michael, you're going to be there. We've got lots of good community people that we know, and I want to encourage networking. Change, you know, swap cards and, you know, share your services. That's cool. That's the whole point of having the event, you know, so you can.
That's it, man. Definitely. Cool. I want to say a massive thank you. Thank you for coming to Mic Drops Up Close. I'm going to literally just drop the mic. There you go, Mic Drops Up Close. Thanks again, Jay. Really appreciate it. I'm going to switch the live off and we'll do a little bit of a chat after this. Sorry, guys. But thank you again for coming to Mic Drops Up Close. Really appreciate it, Jay Dhillon. You have been an amazing guest. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you so much. And I hope you guys got some value, and I look forward to having you in my studio.
Thank you.
Some fun as well.
We'll see you soon, mate. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Cheers, mate. So I'm just going to literally, Jay, we're still live. I'm just going to switch this off now. Thank you, guys.